Hey, what's up? Welcome everybody to another episode of the Cam Schuster podcast, brought to you by the WesWes Network, brought to you by WesWesNet.com. We've just started a new YouTube channel called the WesWes Movies and TV. It will be the new home of two of our podcasts, the Late Returns Film Review and the Channel 135. We just did a Late Returns Film Review episode last week. I had those souls from the 135 Footy Show jump on, Bob and Simon. We discussed the movie, the 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Predator. That was a fun pod to do, just to reminisce about one of the greatest action movies in the 80s, and one of my greatest action movies of all time as well. So that's on the latest Late Returns Film Review. That's currently on our new YouTube channel, the WesWes Movies and TV. So go like and subscribe to that, and you'll get notifications on the rest of our releases that come on there. I also did an episode of the Channel 135 with Eric. We just did it recorded earlier on today. We did a review on the John Wick spin-off movie Ballerina, and yeah, we did a review, did some spoilers, and we broke it down, and just give you guys just some thoughts on what we thought about the movie, if it was good or bad. So yeah, so go check out Channel 135 if you've seen these movies that you want us to hit, and you want to hear our opinions on. So go check that out. So yeah, they're all on the new YouTube channel, our new WesWes Network YouTube channel called the WesWes Movies and TV. So go like and subscribe. So this episode I got also Willie to call in from Perth, Western Australia. We talked about the Super Rugby Pacific final, Crusaders going up against the Chiefs and winning. So the Crusaders, congratulations, crowned the 13th time they won the Super Rugby Championship. So congratulations to the Crusaders, and congratulations to Willie's nephew, Christian, who plays down there at number 8. Going to talk to Willie about Super Rugby, but before that, I'm going to touch on my thoughts on the All Blacks selections. The All Black squad just got named today, and a bit on NBA Finals, which finished today, OKC beating Indiana. All right, let's do it. Road intro. Let's go. Right, OKC winning their first NBA championship since they've come into the league, beating the Indiana Pacers. And what was a tragic end to the season for Tyrese Haliburton, the Pacers' main man there, the guy that's responsible for these ridiculous comebacks the Pacers were known for during this postseason. Man, they deserved to be the opponents of OKC. OKC deserved to be there with their star SGA and plus their record all season. They've been the best team in the league all season, so they deserve to be there. And just Indiana just coming in at fourth seed in the East, and just making it to the finals, taking OKC to the 7th game, which was today. That was a big effort. They deserve to be in the final too. Indiana Pacers. So yeah, OKC winning the title. I think they said that they're the second youngest team to ever win the title, and it was funny because I saw a little article there about they're so young. This team is so young that when they do the celebrations in the locker room, like popping the champagne bottles, none of the players knew how to do it because they're too young to know how to open champagne bottles and that. But lucky for the old head in the team, Alex Caruso, who's 31, he knew how to do it, and he won the championship with the Lakers before. So yeah, he was the guy that knew how to open the champagne. But yeah, man, I didn't really watch the game. I watched bits of it. It was on my phone when I was at work, so I sort of, yeah, man. When I saw Tyrese Haliburton go down, man, he popped his Achilles. They didn't say it officially, but from what everyone was saying, he had calf trouble this series, so it was sort of like a matter of time. But big ups to him because he's a warrior, man. So he wanted to go and play, even though he had a bad calf. And it wasn't even off contact. He just stepped and he fell straight to the ground. Man, you could see his pain because he was crying. He was slamming his hands on the court, screaming no, no, no. And man, you could feel his pain there. Like, he made it all this way just for his body to give up on him now. But so yeah, it was sad. He had to be helped to the locker room. He couldn't put any weight on his leg. And he was doing good too. He had three pointers because the injury happened 5 minutes into the first quarter, right? Or 5 minutes left in the first quarter. So he was playing well. It was a tie at that point, 14-all. And Pacers, and then after that, the game they were just playing hard. Half time, the Pacers were actually leading the game. But it was just that third quarter that OKC sort of ran away for it. They had a 9-0 run, and then some shots by TJ McConnell, and then another 9-0 run to pull away. So it was sad to see Haliburton go down, but then big ups to OKC and SGA for getting the chip, man. But yeah, it's funny because I saw on social media as well. There were 3 stars in the playoffs, NBA playoffs, which went down with Achilles. Damian Lillard was one. He went down with ripped Achilles. Jason Tatum, he goes down with Achilles injury. His Achilles snapped. And now Tyrese goes down with his Achilles. And it's coincidence because all these 3 players, all stars, they have number 0 at the end, on their back. So their numbers are a number 0. You probably argue that 0 it's actually a O for Damian Lillard because that's the name of his hometown, Oakland, California. It's not a 0, it's an O, but you get my drift. They 3 players go down with the same injury, 3 stars, and with the same number. Yeah, I'm looking forward for next season, see how it goes. Houston Rockets, they re-signed Steven Adams for another 3 years, and looks like they've got Kevin Durant. He's gone there now. So yeah, but the reunion for Kevin Durant and Steven Adams. Of course, those guys played with each other at OKC. So yeah, they're probably looking at this OKC proud that their old team has won the championship. So also what happened today, the All Blacks squad got named for the free tests against France, who will be coming down not this weekend but the weekend after, so next weekend. It's got most of the players, and this is thanks to Rog for posting up the list under their franchises, right? So yeah, it looks like we got most players that made the All Blacks are from the Chiefs. Looks like the second most players. And then you've got the Crusaders and the Hurricanes with equal number of players in the All Blacks. And you've got the Blues with only 4 players, and then Highlanders with 3, and then of course Moana with 1 with Adi Sevilla. But man, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Chiefs getting named in the All Black squad. 8 from Hurricanes, 8 from Crusaders. This is including Naroa for the Chiefs, who is injury cover, and Christian Leo Willie, who is an injury cover as well for the Crusaders. So yeah, that tells me that picked on players that inform teams on top of the table. So obviously Chiefs at top of the table most of the season. So they get more players, and then Crusaders, who are champions, they're sort of up there too in the table. And then Hurricanes, who were above the Blues on the table, they get a little bit more. They get more players. The Blues only get 4 players. Talia's not there because he's going overseas, and they want to pick him. For the Blues, they picked Patrick Tuipulotu, Bernard Barrett, which is sort of automatic. Rico Ioane is interesting because a lot of people didn't want him to be there. So he gets in. And Caleb Clark, who is always, good sorts to put in as wing. Two standouts that I see that are making their debut is Fabian Holland and Timothy Tavatavanawe, who had an awesome season too. So, yeah, interesting. Some people that got left out, I thought David Havili was unlucky to make it. I thought he had a solid season, and he's got good experience as well. So he doesn't make it. So in the midfields, we got Jordy Barrett who's coming over from Ireland. He was playing at Leinster during the Super Rugby season. You got Rico, Anton Leonard Brown, who is probably lucky to get in. He's getting in. He gets in on just, because he's always been that guy. Billy Proctor is probably a given. A lot of people like that guy, and he played a good season too. Tavatavanawa in the midfield, he had an awesome season, especially for the Highlanders, especially for the Steelers. He's been grabbing. And Quinn Tupaya, so he had a good solid season as well for the Chiefs, so he makes sense to be him being in there. But yeah, man, no room for anyone else. We got two first fives, Bowden Barrett and Damien McKenzie. It's probably the only two best first fives we have anyway. We got four outsides, so we got Caleb Clark, winger, Will Jordan, probably cements that fullback spot. Silver Reese on the other wing, and Ruben Love acting as cover. He can play fullback as well. Hookers got Brody McAllister, who's a surprise to me. He's from Canterbury, but he plays for the Chiefs, so maybe he's got that Canterbury connections with Razor there to get him in the team. Takiaho, yep, that's a good pick. Cody Taylor, awesome. He's in there, automatic dude. Props, you got Ethan de Groot, Tyrell Lomax, Fletcher Newell, Ollie Norris, Pasilo Tussi, Tomaiti Williams. Tomaiti Williams is, one of our premier props now. He had an awesome season for the Crusaders there. The locks got Scott Barrett, captain, automatic. Fabian Holland, which is, a good pick. This guy's a big unit. And it's funny because I talked to Willie about the Super Rugby final, and he mentioned that, and this was before they announced it, he said that he thought that Fabian Holland would make the squad. Looks like he has, so yeah, you'll probably hear that next when we go to Willie's interview that we did before the announcement. Locks include Tupo Va'ai, Patrick Tupulotu. Loose forwards, we got Simon Penny Finau, Luke Jacobson, Duplessis Karifi. Awesome. Karifi has had a fantastic year this year. Started last year on the NPC. He had a mean season last year in the NPC and a solid season for the Hurricanes. Pretty good over the ball too, so a few steals there. Adi Severe, he's automatic. A phenomenal season for the Moana, so he's in there. Wallace Atiti, this guy is awesome. He was devastating last year. He was injured most of the season, but it was just a matter of time for him. They were just waiting for him to come back and just play the few games he did play, and it was enough to earn him the spot. Three halfbacks, we got Noah Hotham, Cortez Radama, and Cam Roygard. Christie from the Blues, he didn't make it. So look at this team, and I think mixture of experience and form. Free test against French, and then the Rugby Championship and the big game in August in Eden Park against South Africa. Just see how these guys go during the year before that South Africa game that probably they marked on the calendar. And yeah, man, that'll be a big one to win. Sweet. That's my thoughts. Wasn't much thoughts, but yeah, man. Let's see how it goes. I'm team Joe Smith anyway. I'm going for the Wallabies this year. Hope they do something amazing. But yeah, let's get to my chat with Willie and Super Rugby final. Let's go. All right, we're back. I'm in the house with also Willie coming in again from Perth, Western Australia. What's up, Mosul?
What's up, bro, man? All good. Yeah, good weekend of rugby, and probably a good week of Origin too, man. So yeah, with
Yeah, that's right.
that win yesterday, topped it up.
Especially for you guys. But yeah, man, I just want to touch on that Origin because that was around your ways in the week during the weekend on Wednesday.
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say, man, it's bloody cold over here in Auckland right now, man. It's freezing.
Yeah, we're about it's like the weather's been hammering down for the last 2 weeks, to be honest, 2 or 3 weeks now. It's just been, like feels like we're back in Auckland, man. To be honest, like with just the heavy rains. But
you saw the heavy rain on Wednesday at the Origin game.
Yeah, man, and that was probably what. But they still showed some really good skill in that game too. The Origin, they were still passing the ball like this, hardly any drop balls. That was a good game. Are you a Maroons or you a Blues? You a New South Wales? Oh,
I bleed blue, man.
Unlucky. It must have been the week for the Reds, eh? For the Maroons. Yeah.
That's right. But man, you were saying you took the kids down to what's the name of Optus Stadium? That's where the Western Force play, was it?
No. So Western Force. No, the Western Force play at the HBF stadium, which is more of a rugby and a rugby league, but because it's got less seating, they've taken it to the Optus, which is I think it's about 60,000 seater in that stadium.
Do they play AFL there?
Yeah, so it's predominantly for AFL, man. But all sorts, like cricket, it hosts cricket, rugby, league. But yeah, no, I think it was awesome, man. That was a good atmosphere.
Yeah, because I imagine it's kind of equal. It's a neutral ground, so equal New South Wales and Queensland supporters.
There are a lot of New South Wales fans, eh? There's a lot of New South Wales fans there, man. Like where we were sitting within amongst a mixture of New South Wales and Queensland supporters, so it was pretty good. But yeah, just about the atmosphere though, man, it was hectic, man. Pretty awesome.
I felt like the players struggled in the wet weather, especially on those grounds. It seems like it's not like any other ground where when it gets wet, it's kind of slippery. I think was talking about it. Who's the hooker?
Harry Grant.
Yeah, Harry Grant. He was talked about it in the post-match interview.
Oh yeah.
He was saying the ground was kind of slippery. But,
really?
He mentioned that. He mentioned that in his interview, but
no, that's like they're one of them. Like, wasn't any muddy parts. If anything, they were slipping over just with their bad footing or probably the boots, man. But like that ground's like they spent millions and millions on it in terms of like underground, for their drainage and all of that. So. Yeah, no, but like it was a good night though, man. There were a few, actually there were more than a few in our section of unhappy New South Wales supporters. Even on the bus, it was. Even on the train back to after the game. But yeah,
it was a 6 o'clock kickoff, over there. The sun's already down by that point.
Yeah,
because I was wondering about the timing because you know how Perth's like a few hours away behind the East Coast. I thought it would be like we'll get our first sort of daytime Origin.
Nah, there was it was 6 o'clock here, and it's gotten dark. It got dark pretty quickly, just because of also the weather, also. So that was but yeah, they put on a good show, man. Like I'm hoping that the Bledisloe can put on a good show as well when they come here. But with the results for the All Blacks, so it should be good.
Yeah, man, I'll be a Wallaby supporter.
Yeah.
This year, man, I'll be going for Joe Smith, man.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Joe Smith.
Yeah,
but not when they're going to be playing the All Blacks. only when they play the South African and the British Lions. So we're looking forward to it. But yeah, that was what was it? Yeah, that was a good game, bro. Like, man, like even last, when you look aside on that, when you look on the team, like To'o scored 3 tries. That was all Pacific Islanders, man. It's all pollies on both sides, man. Like Big Tino and Motueka on the other side. With Nanai and the other, the Hammer. Valentine Holmes. So it's just, and then you look at Blues team, bro. It's like, man, it's just full of islanders, man.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's good signs for the internationals,
Yeah,
for Tour
harder.
Samoa and MMC.
Well, I'm hoping that those boys return back to Toa Samoa. Like you look at the likes of Payne Haas, if he's actually putting his hand up.
Mm.
So that'll be pretty cool. But the other big one too was the new team that's opening up here, the Bears
The Bears, yeah.
for the NRL. So
Mal
yeah,
Meninga's the coach for that one, though.
yeah. It's I think from what I heard too is hearing that that coach of the Toa Samoa is going to be one of his coaches as
Oh,
well. Yeah,
the Palangi coach that was the coach during the World Cup.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That
true.
replaced Yeah, that replaced. Nah, no, not that one that took them to
Oh,
the final. The one that just recently replaced him from
oh,
Penrith.
right.
I think he's a
Yeah.
Penrith man. So yeah, from hearing that, I'm hearing that he's the coach, one of the coaches anyway.
Mm.
I think they're kind of doing something similar to what the Dolphins, did when Bennett went up there and then got the Wolf, the coach from the Tongan team. So yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Because they don't do it often though when Perth have an origin
Nah,
neutral game.
nah. But there's been a lot of talk though, like the why go to Perth? It doesn't mean any, it doesn't have any meaning, or like. But
Mm.
man, there's heaps of Maoris, man, out, out and about with either with their New South Wales or with their Queensland with their maroon jerseys, bro.
Yeah.
That was good. But there's a good following though here though. Like if rugby aren't careful, like 'cause NRL have put some money back into getting their team in, and then the government has jumped in on board, and when you see the Premier there, like just, you know, supporting it, man, it's got a lot of backing too
Mm.
from the state government. At the moment, man, they got a big budget too now.
Yeah, that's the thing about the difference between Australian sports and New Zealand sports. Yeah, New Zealand having rugby union number one sport in this country, but with Australia, the rugby union is not number one. So you've got all
No.
these other sports that compete with
Yep.
AFL, then NRL
Yep.
league, and then rugby union and cricket even. Even
Yep.
the basketball league is pretty strong there too in Australia. So
Yeah.
you got a lot of these sports just competing with each other, and
You know
rugby
what?
union is just not the top. Mm.
The other one that's growing here too is gridiron, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, gridiron. Like that's another one that's growing. Like they have those combines, the international combines here in Australia as well. So there's and that's the international combine.
Mm.
That's where the likes of Jordan Peteo went. I think Jordan Mailata had already been recruited before that too, though. But there's another one that's come out of Brisbane,
Mm.
Samoan, man, like big unit, man. I think he's in part of that combine program at the moment. So
Yeah, NFL America's actively coming to down under, Australia
yeah,
and New
man,
Zealand to try get
yeah,
some of these Polynesian kids up to play this
and that,
sport.
and that
And
that's what it is, man.
mm,
That's what it
mm.
is. Because they know that the Island boys or the Poly boys are just big ballers, man. It's a big frames.
And they've got the money too, Like you're talking
Yeah,
about double, triple, quadruple the salary,
man, to
from
go from
thousands to millions,
yeah. Well,
Mm.
look at I think what's his name? Jordan Petaya. He's just got offered. He's just been signed up,
Mm.
and he's making over 3 or 4. I think 5 million was his sign-on fee a year.
It's
Like
crazy.
yeah, man, hard out. Hey, and you can't blame them. Can't blame. Like there's this other kid, Lucky Tassi, I think from Brisbane.
Mm.
So I think he's been invited up into with the Philly Eagles. I think. I'm not quite sure. I
Yeah,
might have to look up.
Philadelphia
But
Eagles. That's where
my
my
letter is
letters. Yeah.
yeah. But there's another one. There's another one. I think I forget his name, man. But they reckon like he can shift too. But he playing rugby and rugby league. So it'd be just interesting how like if these guys go there and they thrive and they grow and that's a game changer for just the family in itself, eh?
But you think how many players NFL has plucked from American Samoa, Like over the
Yeah,
years, like a lot of
yeah,
them go from there. So it makes sense for them to, let's go try out Australia and New Zealand where some more of the boys are.
Yeah, but I think some of them would go there. I think mostly because they'd go there because I would think that the core skills or your your athleticism and all of that, because they would have learnt all of that through their rugby and stuff and that. Whereas the raw guys that they get from the islands, it's not really. It's just a raw. Like they'll have to do it from scratch in terms of, which is nothing wrong, but you go to a country like New Zealand and Australia where a lot of their hard work has been done, and they come over and just excel, in gridiron, man. So yeah, good on them.
Yeah, I'll be excited to, because I watch it there. I watch the NFL. I try to.
Oh yeah,
it's hard because you have to go to work on Monday, and that's when the game's on. So it's always on my phone at work. But yeah, man. Now, man, we're here to talk about, man, the final, the Super Rugby Pacific final that happened last night. The Chiefs losing to the Crusaders, and man, the commentators were talking about how this is like a test match, the way it was played, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
But man, you must be proud, man, because man, your first time Crusader championship, is it? He can be proud of your team for the first time.
Nah, like I was saying, like I've said to, I think I was speaking to my own family, but like I grew up as a Blues supporter, man. Learned my rugby in Auckland, and I've always supported. But I guess it's probably when the nephew went down there about 4 years ago. It was just just slowly, and I think it was probably just going to watch him live. I think that was probably, got to get in behind him and stuff. But then any other team, yeah, sweet. But no, it was a good game, bro. Like you said, the commentators were talking about it. It was a game. It was just a brutal war, man. Game, it was just what you call just a run it straight comp with rules, man. Like you odd there, get smashed, go down, and then reset. That's what it was. But just the Crusaders were a bit more. They were more efficient than what I think they should have tried to match them up front. I think they tried to run more the Chiefs. But the biggest thing I noticed was that, and I heard the commentators talk about it, which was bang on, was that the pressure that they put on Mackenzie, like they hammered Mackenzie, man. They gave him no space to operate, and just when you put pressure on a guy like that, who's your key playmaker, things tend to just to fold, or fall apart, and it worked. Just thinking their kicking game too. Like, I felt though the Crusaders, like that Noah Hotham, he kicked he was too slow with the ball and passing. Because I can see with the Crusaders, they got really fit forwards as well. They love to run in the back line, but Noah Hotham was pretty slow getting to the ruck, and releasing that ball. But just Jordan, bro, like Will Jordan with his chasing and then going up and coming back down with the ball, man. You can't coach that stuff, bro. That's just the will, and just that's those. Again, you go back to what Razor said about Hoskins. It's that work off on both sides of the ball that matter the most, and that's what those guys showed, Like, Will Jordan, when he needed to chase, like there's a saying, like if you're gonna kick the ball, make sure that you get it back. Or if you're gonna kick, and you make sure the ball is like up on the third level of the stadium, so there's no quick lineouts, And what
for me, every time they kick the ball, to me it's always like, okay, what's the percentage here? What percentage you gonna get that ball back?
50. It's a 50-50. But like it's one of those things. Being a 50-50 is like whoever there wins to jump up for the ball. And Will Jordan had the confidence to go up and attack the ball in the air because he knows that the laws of the game protects him. That, and that's if you go in with that confidence and look, the amount of time that he went up and came back down with the ball, man. It was unreal, eh? You know?
You talked about how they were smashing McKenzie, and they were, man. And I think I saw in the first half, around the 20th minute mark, the nephew Christian, he smashed him. But he got penalised for that. It was shoulder to shoulder.
I reckon the contact was high.
But it wasn't no head contact or anything.
I didn't see them. I didn't see that part, to be honest, because I just come back from my team that I coached. I was on my way back, and I was watching it on. But I missed that. I probably watched the last, say, 15 minutes of the first half. But I missed that, and I seen all the, the commentary on it on the news, man. Like on just the reading up, and they're saying, oh, it was too high, and it was this, and I said, oh, but there was no head contact.
Yeah, that's right.
So. Can't really
another odd decision.
Yeah, well, that's what they reckon. That's what Angus Gardner said, was just the contact was high. So it was like high is like, so you're not allowed to tackle the 10 up by the shoulder. Like far out. It's like going to end up like league that you can't touch the 10 at all now.
Yeah. Well, that was a weird decision that I thought when I was watching it, because you thought it was a head contact, but when you looked at the slow motion. And the referee was looking at the slow motion too, so they saw it. And he continued with his high. So it was like, okay.
That's the other thing too, eh? Like when you review that in slow motion, a tackle in slow motion, it always makes it look worse than what it really is. Like I can get it if you review for see if it's a try or a no try, and you do it slow-mo. But when you do it on a tackle, like you get all the after effects, man. You like it all the... So, but yeah, that'll be one. Yeah, but look again, not many penalties, eh? They didn't give many penalties away, the Crusaders.
No, they don't. And it felt like it too. When you watched it, you felt like when they had the momentum, they weren't going to make any mistakes. And it's funny because they looked dangerous right through the game, and there was at no time that the Chiefs had the ball, they looked the same.
Yeah,
they didn't, and that was like, okay, man, I see where this is going. Crusaders look like they're going to win this game no matter what they do.
Yeah, but that was just the thing. You like see with the, could they have played their final against the Brumbies the last week? Because they found it tough with the Brumbies too. And if the Brumbies had come up against the Crusaders, that would have been a different. I think that could have been a different outcome too. Because I'd say probably the Brumbies are probably the one that can really sort of, give the Crusaders a really good run for their money, man. Because they've got an all-round game too. They got good forwards. Whereas I think the Chiefs were sort of lacked, like their back sort of went missing for a bit, eh?
But they didn't score through opportunities they got within the game. Like if you think about like the momentum swings, it wasn't so much a momentum swing for the Chiefs. It's just they got an opportunity and they capitalized on it. So their first try, they got. I don't think you were there at the time, but it was off the back of a sin binning. So David Willie, he got sin bin for a head knock to Narawa, and the Chiefs scored a try straight away.
Yeah, well, I did get that, but it just looked like they were chasing the game. Like there were those penalties that before halftime that Mackenzie missed.
Well, he missed the penalty kick that he usually gets.
Yeah,
that would have put his team in front.
But that's what happens when you're getting pressured.
Or getting smashed.
Yeah, bro. That's what happens, bro.
Yeah. And that's why I thought there was no time in the game. I thought that the Crusaders were sort of,
looking like they were going to lose.
Yeah, looking like they're going to lose. Like they were confident in everything they did. Like they pushed forward, made no mistakes. Whereas the Chiefs, they had to fight.
Yeah.
And all the tries were scored in the first half.
No, you're right, man. And that's probably, again, that's a hallmark of what Crusaders rugby do. I'll admit, even back probably like in the last 7 years when Razor was there as a coach, I enjoyed the way they played their rugby. Because they would either use the ball, they would use the ball really well. They have really good innovations in how they use and manipulate the defence. Whereas like with the Blues and then the Chief has been good, but the Blues and the Hurricanes and that, you sort of really get disappointed because on paper they're stacked. You know, on paper they've got probably the most talented, and they've got the region that's got the most talent in all of New Zealand. You know, but just goes to show that talent really doesn't win your competition, man. It's just good people that's willing to work hard.
We're working hard. There was this one point in the game where, so the Chiefs went for a restart. This is off the back of Cody Taylor. He scored that try off that ball,
yeah.
and he sprinted down the side for a try. Chiefs did the restart. Havili catches the ball and kicks it down. But it's the chase. It's the chase of Silver Reese and Havili as well. And Braden Eno, because I think it's Carter at the back, and he catches the high ball. But then he looks up and there's already got Silver Reese there.
Yeah.
And Braden Eno was already there, and Havili's already there. Havili tackles him, and there's no one to clean out. So the ball, I think it's Eno, I think.
Reese on that. It was Reese.
Oh no, it's Reese. He goes over the ball and then
I think it was Reese. But that's again, bro.
Gives them a penalty.
You know,
but that's effort, eh? That's effort, and that's like instinct, and that's like just playing hard, eh?
Yeah, that doesn't, and that's the stuff that we talk about, man. That's the stuff that doesn't require talent. You know, like if you work hard, you get rewards, and that's what they did. They just worked hard. They just outworked the Chiefs, man. You know, like when you talk about that kick, like how many of the Chiefs players or the backs worked back to support? They were just assuming that Leroy was going to run it back or was going to kick it. But, you know, like as you pointed out, man, like Sivu Reese. You know, like what's one person going to do with three people that's, you know, like three red and black players there, or Crusader players? Just, you can't, you either try and kick it out or you try and run it, and then, you know, he got caught with the ball, and, you know, that's the stuff that, even now I think a lot of coaches talk about it, but you can't coach that stuff. That's, you know, you want to do it because of your team, and especially in a final, you want to try and win every opportunity or any contest. If it's a contest in chasing chasing that ball down, even I think when they're doing their up and unders and stuff, you know, like you look up as a guy that's looking for the ball, and you look up about 4 or 5 guys running at you. Are they going to either smash you or wait for you when you come down to get smashed? You know.
Yeah, I thought that play there was just summed up the whole night for the Crusaders. Just put the Chiefs under pressure every single time, and those effort plays.
Yeah, bro.
And you know what reminded me of those effort plays was when the World Cup, when South Africa was playing France, and then that France goal kicker was going for the kick, and what's his name? Chosen Kobe. He ran and he
charged him down.
Charged the ball, man.
Yeah.
Wow, and that won the game, mate. They won him the game, but it's that instinct and that instinct for him to just sprint and try and charge that ball down there, man. Like, you never know. It might happen, it might not, but at least you tried. Like,
but he also knew.
Play hard, eh?
But he also, like Colby, Cheslin knew the routine of that kicker. Like he knew how he did his routine and just timed it, bro. But that's right, you know, that's bang on. Like that's the stuff that doesn't require talent, man. You know, I think, you know, like I said, I'm still a tragic Booth fan, man. You know, like but I just don't think that I don't think so much of the coach maybe, but like we don't have the at the moment, or now that it's finished, the Blues don't have, you know, they have too much of a pool where they tend to miss out on those that actually are the hard workers. You know,
because it's the hard work. It's their hard work that they go down to Crusaders, and then they thrive on the hard work. Eh? So
yeah, but you go from the city down to the country, and then all those farm boys, bro. Like those farm boys, they wake up at, you know, the likes of Blackadder, the Cullen Grace. They're all out of you know, out of the South Island. So, you know, they work, you know, from waking up at 4 in the morning to 3 in the morning to go and whatever they need to do with their family. But, you know, that's just, it's normal for them, eh? Whereas for those island boys. Oh well, I've got to get up at I've got to get up at 6. Oh, silly. School's just down the road, man.
Before the halftime, I think Sean Stevenson scores a try in the corner. The TMO takes ages to figure out if that was a legal clean out with Tupo Vai. He cleans out Barrett, and Barrett complains like it was illegal, but they take ages to sort that out. But then I thought that went against what they're trying to do this whole year for Super Rugby, trying to make things go faster and that kind of stuff. But I guess it's a final, so you gotta kind of get the thing right, eh? So,
But there were two things there, though. Well, I think he came from the side, the clean out. Like he came in from the side. I think it was Taukiako or something, or Tupo Vai.
Yeah, it was Vai.
It was Vai, yeah. So if you look at it, but they didn't have the same angle. The angle, like it looked like he come through, but like really he come from the side where he cleaned out, and then like the clean out was right, like the call from what. But it was his entry into that ruck was what I wanted him to look at. But he reckons that the entry into ruck, there was nothing wrong with it. Don't know how big that gate is. That Tupo came in, but he's known for like that's why he's a good player, man. And I know they talk him up and that, but my pairing locks, and I hope so, is Holland and is Fabian Holland and Barrett, man.
Oh yeah, Fabian Holland, yeah, from Holland, is he?
Yeah, man. That'll be my like that guy's 2 meters, and he's the tallest guy in NZ rugby at the moment, and he's only I think 21, 22. You know, so
heaps of time.
Yeah, loads of time, bro. You know, like a good timing now to get him involved and be part of the All Blacks. Anyway, I know. But yeah,
there was one thing the Crusaders were dominant on, and that was the scrums, man.
Yeah.
Well, they have been all through the season, but they showed this final. Man, how many penalties they won off the scrum?
So that Tamati Williams, man, he's a unit, eh? Yeah, another St. Kitts boy, you know, another product of St. Kitts, gone down there.
Yeah.
Made himself a name, and then that Fletcher Neal. Like he played really, really well.
He played the full 80 minutes.
Yeah, man. I didn't know that. Yeah, that was mean, man.
No, he's injured now, so don't know how long he's going to be injured. They named the All Blacks tomorrow. They named the All Blacks tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll see who gets the chop, who gets in.
It'll be a big one, man. Just see if Christian's his hard work has paid off for the last couple of years.
He's had a solid season, eh? Just coming down and making a name for himself at the Crusaders.
Yeah. He's been consistent the last 3 years. I think when he first went down to the Crusaders, and that was his last year. His first year at the Crusaders was Razor's last.
Yeah.
And then they won that last year, and then they had a pretty bad year last year. You know. Then to turn that around, I think that's probably what the amazing thing about it, is to come from where they were last year, to taking it all the way and winning the comp, man. That's an awesome feat, man. You can't begrudge, can't hate Penny for that, man.
Yeah, and that was the last time they're gonna play at that stadium too. Their new one will be open.
Yeah, 32-0. They retired. He retired on a 32-0, man. That's a solid hit out, man.
Well, you know, you saw the dejected looks on the Chiefs' face when at the end of the game, like sorry for them, especially with their coach leaving too.
Yeah, he's gonna be a loss for New Zealand rugby, because he's actually a bloody good coach, man. He's I think hopefully that he goes there and gets that international experience, and he comes back and sort of has a crack for the head coach, or as a coach with the All Blacks team, because he was the New Zealand 15 coach last year too. I think the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah. So he's going to. Has he got a job?
Munster.
Oh, Munster. Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to go and hopefully, because I'm good friends with his brother that lives here, and
Oh, yeah.
we talk a fair bit about rugby. He's awesome. He's a good dude, man, and he says because he flew down there to watch it and a bit bummed, but he'll go over there try and turn around the Munster team because they've been having a bad season too, Munster.
Oh, okay.
So, but I think if there's somebody that can turn it around, it'll be Clayton McMillan, man.
That second half, that was a tough second half because no tries were scored. If you had told me, because the Chiefs finished the half time with 12 points. If you told me they were going to stay at 12 points, I wouldn't have guessed that. But they didn't score. So
No.
Crusaders get the penalty. So they get the first penalty in the 72nd minute. So that's a long time to go in the second half without any scoring. And that came off the back of a scrum. So the Crusaders got a penalty over the scrum. They got the kick over. Scores now 16-12. This is the time because the Chiefs get the ball back, right? And they get the ball back on the Crusaders 22, I think. Is it? No. Between the 22 and the 10-meter line. So there's 7 minutes to go. They have the ball, but somehow the ball doesn't go forward at all. They go all the way back. So it's like, wow. So if you're the Chiefs and you're down by 4 points, you have the ball in the Crusaders half, you got 7 minutes to score a try.
Yeah.
They failed to do that. The ball never went forward at all. It just went back and back and back. Over a series of box kicks that didn't go anywhere. Crusaders got the ball back and kicked the ball back to get some territory on their side, and they just kept on going back and back. And that was the end of the game. So
but you look at the Crusaders, man. They were in for a fight. They knew that was going to be a fight. Like that was again, like I say, just like run it straight or that bull rush, man. It was just, see who's going to be, last one standing in those hit 'em ups pods. But they again, Chiefs had opportunities, man. They had opportunities.
yeah.
They just didn't really, take their opportunities when they had them, and but all they could have done was, like they could have. I think Mackenzie could have stepped back and a bit deeper, get a bit more depth to run on, so then, it allows him to see more space. But they were still up flat, and that was, again, when you got a guy like Sebu Reece running at you, or the 7 or the 8 or the 6 running at you, man, it gets on your nerves, so yeah.
If the Blues were in that same situation, you'll know exactly what they'll do. They'll just pick and go until they get to the front. But the Chiefs didn't do that for some reason. They lost the ball a couple of times.
It almost felt like that they were scared to take the Crusaders forwards on.
Yeah.
And that was where that battle is again, rugby it's a numbers game, bro. Like, if the Crusaders has one or two guys in the ruck contesting and competing, and the Chiefs have 4 or 5, where's the next mismatch going to be at? Be at the next ruck.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant, man. Like the Chiefs failed to go anywhere in the last 7 minutes when they had the ball.
Yeah,
they needed to score a try to win. They had the ball, and they didn't do anything with it. I mean, Crusaders just took them back, and it felt to me like there was nothing you could do. Crusaders were adamant they're going to win this game, and they were going to do everything. They were going to do everything. Yeah, the mindset, and you could see it. Like it's almost like the Chiefs were exploding and like imploding, and like I was thinking like all the social media the next day were Chiefs the chokers. The choking Chiefs.
Yeah, I've seen the recent one where this guy put up a post of the Chiefs players, and they were going like that. And I was thinking, that's a bit bloody rude. Like I'm not saying that I'm a Chiefs fan. Like I'm a rugby fan. Like I like when teams play really good rugby, and I like it when the Chiefs play good rugby, man. When they run their ball and they're playing good rugby, just like the same with the Blues. It's awesome to watch. But well, this guy went and done those images about with the Chiefs going like that as chokers.
The chicken.
And I commented today, and I said, bro, I'd like to see how many grand finals you've played in. And he goes, oh, we've won 13. And I'm saying, bro, I'm not talking about how many your team that you support have won. I'm talking about your own. Yeah, you know, it was just a bit of a sour one, you know, but yeah. They won, bro. Don't need to. Don't need to rub it in and just go. You know, that's just next level shit.
But I guess that last 7 minutes for me, that was Italian 7 minutes, man. And I just thought Chiefs just waved the white flag. I mean, if they don't want to take the Crusaders up the middle to take on their forwards, they had to do that to score a try. And it looks like they didn't want to do that. They wanted to find another way to do it, but the other way was the wrong way, because all that happened was they did like this kick. They kicked to them and then kicked back, and then there was like an aerial kind of thing going on. But the Crusaders were winning that, so it wasn't even working. So I was really disappointed at the Chiefs that last 7 minutes. Like, man, and that hurt me even more, because I knew if the Blues were there, you know what they would have done. You know, they would have taken that forward pack on. They would have just
kicked the ball again.
Nah, man, we would have taken on that. We're not scared, man. We're not scared of that forward pack, man.
He would have just kicked us up and unders, man. I'm thinking, man, that's my pet hate at the moment, with the halfbacks in there up and under. Like, I don't mind them, but then, there's sometimes when, man, just give the ball out so they can run the ball, man. Like, what? If I wanted to watch somebody kick, I'd go down to the local soccer competition, man, and all the AFL here, bro. Yeah, man. But yeah, you're right though. Like, that's a Blues, that's a Blues game there. That's that type of game where they can get into, and which is what they did against the Chiefs in that first round of of finals. They just pounded. They just went to work with the Chiefs, and that's what the Crusaders did to the Chiefs. And that's what the Chiefs the Crusaders have worked out. They look back and how did the Blues beat them? They beat them at the contact area. They beat them up in the ruck areas. Just anywhere there was they were dominant. They were dominant in that ruck area and in that contact area.
I think it's too late for the Blues now. They're locked into this kind of style now. Because if they get a different coach, or if they change their style, it's like a waste of time. Because you had 2 years playing this forward-oriented style, and you can't. I don't think you can change it. You can't. You gotta try and master it now. You gotta be better. You gotta be better at it, like you did the first year you won, not the second year, not like this year.
You've just got to get players that are willing to play that style of game. Like you've got to get forwards that are, like we used to, like the Blues used to have a forward pack that was feared by the whole country. Now, bro, the only one that's carrying that team is Paddy, bro.
Yeah, it's not even the problem.
And like he can't do everything, Like I'm sure you can't tell me that there's no number 7 that's better than Choke, although that he's leaving, or even at Anton Segner. Everybody's like, I like the story behind the kid, but I don't think, there's some kids running around that's way better than him. And I'm not saying that.
He didn't actually set the world on fire.
No, man. And this is his second season into the Super Rugby too.
Yeah.
Like he didn't set the fire on the first season, let alone the second season. But you've got some kid like you look. There's another one. That Sofoloy kid.
He's done the Crusaders, eh?
Yeah, he's from Auckland. He's from out east. He's in the Auckland academies obviously didn't think highly of him because he probably went to a shit school. And then the Chiefs drafted him into their academy, and then the Crusaders signed him up. Like I said, like if you had a kid like that, and then there's another one also that's playing for that came here and played for the Force. Now he is with the Waratahs. It's a good number six lock. Like he was he could be a good player that could have stayed around and they just got no big size, number 6 or number, chokers. He's shorter than, he's only 5'9" or something. He's not even that tall.
Yeah, it's a blow that he's leaving because he wasn't really starting. He was coming off the bench most times, but
Yeah.
he needs to be the guy to step up to be a starter, eh? And then bring someone else up under him.
Well,
But he's going, so I don't know who's going to be under him. Who's going to come up?
be interesting to see how much of the talent that's coming through from that academy system,
Mm.
But you look at them, now that First 15 rugby is back on TV, all the New Zealand talent will be drained.
Yeah. You get a chance to catch up with Christian after the win.
We're down. No.
Text or something. He's celebrating still.
Yeah. No, I just messaged him just to congratulate him, man. It was on the good win.
Yeah.
I think it's just he's just really thrown himself into the Crusaders environment, and he's doing really well. I was just reading I was reading somewhere too that like the creed of or the motto of the Crusaders is excellent. What better motto than that to sort of go in and try and thrive and just be yourself and thrive in an environment, eh? So
13 championships. 13.
Yeah.
13 championships.
And that's a record, man. And he's enjoyed it. Like when he was here in Perth and we caught up, and like he's the difference between that environment and there's, I guess he's just being himself. And I think that's probably where a lot of environments aren't get it wrong, because they try to create the environment for the person to be part of their environment, and when you're really, it's about bringing that person and then creating an environment that they feel comfortable with. So there's some good people, man. So he's enjoying it. I think he's re-signed for another till 2027. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure he's re-signed. So, but he's enjoying it. I think he's just gonna see what comes with this. If he's part of if he's made the selection and if it comes with it, then I'll be trying to book a flight. So we'll see you later, guys. Yeah, I'm out, man.
Nice. Yeah.
I'll call my boss and I'll say I'll work from. I'll take my laptop with me, bro, and I'll return those emails or follow up those calls.
I'll check what time the announcement is, because I think it is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sometime in the afternoon, I guess. But we'll be looking out for that on the news and that.
Yeah, I'll be looking at it too.
But one thing we spoke about last week that we're going to talk about this week was just the overall Super Rugby Pacific 2025, like what you thought of it and all that kind of stuff. Because how I thought of it was like, okay, this was going to be, I think Super Rugby had to do something to try get more fans engaged.
Yep.
Better than what they did last year. And they did. They tried a few new things. They started the fantasy, Super Rugby fantasy thing that you could play. They had to make up for the loss of the Melbourne Rebels, who, due to financial stuff, they couldn't sustain themselves, so they had to go. So 12-team comp went down to 11-team comp. So that's to change the finals format. Which I thought was we had to see it to believe it, and I guess it was okay. But then I think the action, with Adi Sevilla going to Moana, that helped a lot. I think Joseph Soli going to Waratahs, that helped a bit. Because, man, what I wanted was Australia to do well. Because if Australia doesn't do well, then Super Rugby ain't going to do well. And it's pretty sad because Australia teams weren't doing good. But I think they stepped up, man. Australia team stepped up. And I think with star power too, because I think with Joseph Soli going to the Waratahs, they added a bit of star power to the Waratahs. So I was keen to watch those games. I was keen to watch him play, even though he was injured most of the season.
But they had the most. Sorry, but they had the most wallabies in the team, and they were still kaya, man.
But then they had the Brumbies, who were always up to standard every year.
Yeah.
But man, just the coaching of Stephen Larkham, man, I love that guy, man. I loved him when he was a player, man, and
Yeah.
as a coach. And Brumbies, the back three of the Brumbies, they're exciting. So you want these exciting players to stand up for Australia, so you can watch them.
Yeah.
Because last year when you watched Western Force versus Melbourne, you don't want to watch that game. You're like, oh,
nobody wants it to. I'd rather watch the AFL game, man.
Who wants to watch that game? That's right. So, you have to have these exciting games, and I think Super Rugby has done that a little bit more this season. How about you?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. Like, definitely, dropping that fifth team really helped the Australian rugby, But I think if the big hopes was for one of the big hope for Australian rugby was having Dan McKellar come back to coach at the Waratahs, and like he was gonna. I think the talk was he was going to lead them back to glory, especially with all the star players that like they got Tupou, Johnny Leota from the Storm, so from Melbourne. You had Callaway, you had all these, Australian Wallaby internationals, that were given to him, and then you had Joseph Swiley, and I think he'd probably be the only one that sort of. Well, there's probably about 2 or 3 that stood out for the Waratahs, but to me, they didn't really. No. But that'll come in time, man. Like that's the first season that McKellar had that group.
Mm.
Hopefully, in the next year they'll be fitter. I think they're getting rid of Tupou. I think Taniela Tupou was going to come into the force.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, he's just. Yeah, he should just focus on his TikTok videos. That guy. But yeah, to be fair to the Force, they did really well at the start too. But they didn't have the depth to keep up with the game. With the schedule of Super Rugby, man. You can't have your plays week in week out getting smashed and then not sort of giving them a break.
Mm.
But the Queensland Reds, I thought they were a bit of a downer, to be honest. I thought they were going to really push because they were playing some really good footy, man. They were really, scoring some really good tries and winning some key games. But to go down to where'd they go? To go down to the Crusaders and get fussy, just like it was nothing, man. So that was pretty disappointing. And the Brumbies, though, I know everybody was saying, the Brumbies were hard done by that game against the Crusaders, but man, that's footy. But to go and beat the, I think if they had played the Chiefs at home, if the draw wasn't the way that we spoke about early last week, wasn't the way it is, where the winner, the loser of if the Chiefs had a won. They would have played what they would have played. They wouldn't have played the Crusaders, eh? They would have still played the winner out of Brumbies or would have been the Brumbies and the Crusaders.
If the Crusaders, I think the Crusaders lost, it would have been Brumbies. Because the Crusaders are second, so if they lost to the Reds,
they would have had to play the Brumbies at home.
Yeah, that's right. But then the Blues, what do they have to lose to? To Chiefs.
First play, so that was tough though, man. Like the Brumbies, I think they would have they pushed the Chiefs all the way too. So that was, for me it was good. I think what I was really impressed with, especially in that final, was how the referee was speeding the game up. You notice with, get up, come on, no water break, and then there's that one where he told Tamaiti to get up because he was trying to fake an injury.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the speed of the game, I think that's the key though for New Zealand rugby and Australian rugby is the key is how the referee refs the game. If he's like, yeah, come on, let's go, 5 seconds or 30 seconds, 20 seconds to set up the scrum. You got guys there that just want to take the, they just milk it, bro. So they're a key, man. They were a key too because they really good with how they were interpreting the law. But I think like when you're at the end of it, like the draw is what it is, and I think it's a good one for now. But I think there'll be changes later on. I think there will be they'll be looking at exactly that, where the Chiefs lost to the Blues, and the Brumbies beat the Hurricanes. But I like I said to you last time, I think the best draw would be the two. It'll be top 8 or top 6. Yeah, top 8. Top 8. You can either do it both, top 8 or top 6, where the 1 and 2 play. 1 and 2 get a rest while the bottom 4 play a quarterfinal.
Yeah.
And then the winner out of those quarterfinals, they come and play the top 2, which is the semis, and then you go into the final.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah. I think that's how I would have liked it. Because you look at it, those top teams, they've earned the right to rest, for that week. And then they get their chance to come back and I think the league do that, The NRL do that. Where the top 2, they have a rest. So I think that's a good one there, because then at least it gives the players a rest. And
they reward you for getting 1 seat.
Yeah.
That's your reward.
That's it. And you need that. That's the incentive is to win, to get first and second, to either first or second, and then you gain a rest. And then the bottom 4, they play the quarterfinals just to see who can go up and play in the semis. Because you get then the 1 and 2 play the winner of the bottom 4. Which makes for a good, and everybody gets games.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll get more teams in. I'm not sure what they're going to get more teams in. I guess 15 team comp would suit the 8 team top 8.
You think so?
Because 11, if you have 8 and 11, that's too small, eh?
Yeah,
I think last year was too small too with the 12.
The top 8 they would dilute it though. You know what I mean? It would give too many. It'd be too many games. So I think 15, but still have a top 6.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And you still you're playing more games. So the reward to get 1 and 2 is more incentivized. That's more of an incentive, because then you're guaranteed at the end of the 2 rounds that you're going to have a break if you win that. So you get the minor premiers, and then the guys that's coming second, they get the break. So that's my thoughts anyway. That's what I think.
Nah, that's good. That's good thoughts. Yeah, man. So 3.5 months gone. Super Rugby's finished. Super Rugby's finished till next year. So now we got to look forward to all the internationals. I think Samoa's playing Scotland over here in a few days.
You gonna go?
Yeah. I saw a thing at half price. It's 50% off.
Just give it for free, man. They should be paying the fans to go in and watch, man. But what's it called? I think what's his name? I think Michael Jones. Michael Jones' son, the Iceman's son, is playing, eh?
Nico, yeah.
Yeah, I heard he's been selected. Yeah, but I think Tussi's got some a quality team too, though. Like he's, it's not like they can't play.
I think they only got 2 guys from Moana. They're gonna play.
Yeah, I was wondering where what their selection is with Miracle. Yeah.
Because he had a good season. And
he had one of the. He's just getting better and better. I just hope that somebody hasn't put it in his ear that he can stand down and and then be selected.
That might be the case. Because last time he played Samoa was last year, right? So
no, he hasn't played the year before, right?
So there's 2 years. Oh, it's 1 more year and he's eligible for All Blacks. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of those ones.
Because he played, he was in 2023, 23, 24, 25. He'll be eligible for the All Blacks. I just hope that that's what they, like, man, you heard it here, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, I think that's us. That's us for
awesome, man.
This episode. Yeah, man.
The next one should be the test matches.
Test matches against France. France coming down.
Yeah.
We'll probably you probably guys will get to watch the Samoa game too, eh? Samoa,
Yeah.
Scotland.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely be watching it. Yeah. I'll jump on and have a look. But yeah, we're definitely watching the announcements tomorrow and see what's happening.
So besides your nephew, who's gonna be the bolter, you reckon?
Holland, bro. Holland.
Oh, okay.
Holland. Fabian Holland. He'll be the fourth lock.
Mm.
Like him. It'll be him. I reckon it'll be Barrett, Tupulotu. Who's the other one? Holland, and then there was that one from the Chiefs, but he's injury prone. He's injury prone. That guy, Josh Lord.
Josh Lord.
Yeah, but like apart from that, there's not many locks out there, bro. That Derry, he's just coming back from an injury, so he won't be in contention. But my pick would be, it'd be him. Artie will be at. I prefer Artie at 7, man. Like he's a out and out 7. I think wouldn't be surprised. I know there's that big talk. There's talk about that Tava Nawai, but Tava Nawai. He's good, bro. But like I don't think he fits the mold in what they want as their inside centre, and a good player though. Like, don't get me wrong, but the other one I'd like to probably hope, fingers crossed about, would be also the Caleb Tangitau.
Oh yeah, he'll be a bolter if he got picked.
That's a true bolter there.
Yeah.
If he gets in, that'll be out of nowhere that he's got in. But
who the wingers? I think I picked Talia. That's another question, eh? If they're gonna pick him,
not
let
if
him
he's
go.
going. But he hasn't been doing it, and that's what I'm saying. That's why as a bolter would be that Tangitau, and then you'd have Shea Fihaki's had a good season as well. But he just comes in and out. Fihaki for the Crusaders, and plus he's injured. That's the other one. And who else?
Leroy Carter, he sort of played himself out of from that final.
But he's had a good season though, bro.
Yeah.
I'd like, to be honest, I like Leroy Carter. He's not a bad choice to put on as another bolter as well, because he's got pure speed, bro, and he's also got a really good work rate. It's just that he didn't get enough ball on Saturday. Like the only ball he got was all under pressure, man. So he was under the pump as soon as he got the ball, or before he got the ball. So can't fault him for that. Who's the other wingers for the Hurricanes? I think Karifi should be that other. I reckon he'll get in.
Ruben Love, is he gonna get in?
Yeah, I think he would. Just unless they'll be the 2 10s, I reckon they should put him as the third 10, eh? Because he played really well at 10. You got Will Jordan at fullback, and then you can bring in another. So you got Will Jordan that can be that. He can be that specialist fullback, but he can also cover wing. And then you got Ruben that can cover first 5 and 10, and you got McKenzie and Barrett that can do both as well.
I got Caleb Clark too. He'll be.
Yeah, so he's the other winger. Yeah, Caleb. So and the other thing, that was the other thing of with the Blues game, you sort of felt for them. For Caleb didn't get the ball. If he had got more ball, he would have been a lot more menacing, a bit more damaging. With what he was with how with the way that he ran the ball. But yeah, it'll be interesting, bro. It'll be a few wingers. Yeah. Forwards, front row, I think will probably be the same. I don't think they'll go outside from stay away from what their front row or their type, but just the addition of that I think Fabian Holland would be a massive boost, I reckon, just from the height and just his general play, man. He can actually play. That should be good.
Yeah.
Be good. The first one's in Dunedin, eh? Against the French.
Yeah. And then in the capital, I think. Next one, and then South Africa, Eden Park. That's the big one. That's the one that's the Eden Park records on the line.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a good one. That'll be a really, really, really good one. So,
Sweet. Yeah, man.
awesome,
Thanks
man.
for jumping on, man. It's good to
Seki.
talk Super Rugby. Now it's over. I'll wait for next year. But now,
Yeah,
man. Hopefully you'll show on and we'll talk about some of these international tests.
Yep, Seki, man.
All right, man. Have a good week, man.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.